Thank you. Kabishgacha Pratis. Thank you. Torah anytime. Thank you, Kol. I'm good. How the other name? Should I start again? Press 5 again? Should somebody call it up and find out what the matzah is? So Bekitzer. Ma'at min. Now this is a murdik vod. I hold this vod is their vod. The Eibush himself gave me this vod. I ask for the truth. Galei nene babita and the flows betechot sachel. You want to say nemes vod, the kavod Chanukah. I'll tell you a murdik vod. That Reb Chatzkel Levenstein used to marish elements. Every tiny move you make in Ruchnius is hafla of a fella. You don't chap. That's why they invented the magnifying glass with the telescope to give you a cook. Every move you make is magnified. In the next world, you think you did nothing here, but really you turned over worlds. Every tiny move you make in your Shemayim, every gesture, every small. Reb Chatzkel, who was din, I heard from Baron Kreiser, Reb Chatzkel is given din. And he said that. Every tiny move you make is nice. And Ruchnius is not like Gashmius. Where you have it, you don't have it. The dot in your Avodas Hashem is going to go places. You're going to get yourself unbelievable. Am I on or not? Be haltus. I'm on? How could it be? I'm on. Okay. So, the smallest Ratzon type. So I want to tell you how come the Yom Tov where Ruchnius is officially the issue more than any time of the year. Ruchnius. Chanukah is Ruchnius. We fought for our Torah and we won. We fought for our Ruchnius. That's why in Purim you're supposed to have a Mishnah of a Simcha. And Chanukah just for sing and howl. It's different. It's because it's Ruchnius. I want to tell you, Be'ezer Hashem. That's why one day, one tiny drop of oil skyrocketed, turned into 8 to give you the Musahaskel what Ruchnius is. The tiniest thing you did will magnify Adon Shir. La'anias daiti, not so aniistic daiti. My not so humble das. I believe I hit the point. The Eibush himself, I got the real shot. That's why this oil with Chanukah, what's that? Ruchnius. That's Ruchnius. Ruchnius is the tiniest thing is going to spread. It's a simon. Why do people run away from the truth? They don't get instant results. They don't say, hey, it's not, things aren't happening so fast. I'm learning, and the Elam doesn't think I'm so great yet, and I'm not learning enough. You put yourself down the way, my davening so you don't chap that every mashahu is a gold mine. That's the Chanukah message. That's why the Rabbeinu Shalom himself made it to be such a nest. Why? That a little drop of oil should spread into 8. It's a miracle. It's taka miracle. The Ruchnius is l'malam and ateva. Gashmi is, that's what it is. It is. By the way, my key is also Ruchnius. You want to see my key? Does anybody want to see how bent out of shape my key is? You ask any locksmith, could this open up? Yeah, take a look. Is it twisted enough for the Elam? Do you chop? That every time I get into the car, it's Ruchnius happening? Does this make sense? Look at it. It didn't work for a year. This did not work. I tried it 1,000,000 times. So one day I was in a pickle, and I had to get to school, and I was late. I says, Eibishter, and I lost the key, the good one. Eibishter, you got to make it work. I can't. Boom, it worked. From that day on, it's been working. And it's getting more and more bent out of shape, and it works beautifully. Because my key does not go with the rules. I have a Ruchnius key. Because I'm Ruchnius, I hope. I'm a Lamalam and Ateva, anyway. I am Lamalam and Ateva. That's the way I am. I think we all are these days. Everybody's little, how's it working? Who knows? They live into the Eibishter, the Nisim in this world. Anyway, so that's the Pshat in Chanukah. Now also, Ma'at min ha'or doicha harbe min ha'choshech. The concept is, the what? The what? I don't know. But I'll show you where it says, Less nahoira ela de nafik migoy chashecha. That I'll show it to you. It says, there is no light unless there is darkness first. And the more darkness, the more light. You have a peckle. You have darkness, baloney. Now you can put up a candle and lemonade. If you don't have a peckle, you're not worth anything. A person has to have a peckle. I once heard a shmoosh from Don Segel. The peckle. The Welt don't appreciate his, I don't want peckle. Don't leave me alone. No, I had enough of that stuff. Without a peckle, you're not worth a penny. Kotzker Rebbe said, I have enough malach. Maybe she says, you're not worth nothing. A malach. You're a malach. Who needs you? I mean, a malach is a hush of a thing. But compared to an adam, what is it? We have a challenge. We have a Yetzirah. Our Yetzirah is our glick in Lebanon. Without the Yetzirah, you're not worth anything. And the worse the Yetzirah is, don't look for trouble. If you have a big Yetzirah, you know what, you can be Mekadeshim Shemayim. You know what the Stipler says? People who are sunk in the mud of the worst retainers, the worst cases. They're sunk in the mud. They're doing things we don't want to, it's just beyond. They are addicted to the lowest. And they can't control themselves. And it's probably not their fault. You gotta be careful with that. You gotta try to move. We're all Patri somewhere, but we'll also have to try anyway. He says, if a person like this does the slightest movement in the right direction, I'm ready to stand up for him. They say he said it when he couldn't stand anymore. He was old and weak. So somebody who's in the mud with his wicked retainers that he can't stop getting angry. He can't stop whatever. He can't stop. And he stops himself. A mashahu. The Stipler said, I'm ready to stand up for him. He has no idea what his greatness is. So I wanted that. A drop of light. You don't know what you're doing. That's why one little oil turned 8 to show it skyrockets. The whole Ruchni Stika, what you're doing, if you only realized what packs in a day, it would be kedai to sit down after one shachris, one mincha, one ma'ariv, one halbag blat gemara, one difficult places that you never got straight, and spell out what just happened. Do you know, first of all, have simcha. You're going to get 1,000 times more schar. Write it down. I am happy that I learned. I can't. Just got 1,000 times more schar. You know what you did? Next. Then you have the tsar, from tzara. It's just 100 times more than went outside. Think of that's what makes the whole cheshbon. And every molecule of tsar is another 100 times. You know, more tsar, another 100. It's mind-boggling. And the more you appreciate what you're doing, the more ilam haba you're going to get. You appreciate what you're doing. You don't chop how much you are a balabas over your own matziv. Like a chalaymais go according to Tisrei. You paskin good, it's going to be good. Look good at yourself. No, what Asaph threw in the towel. I blew it. You never ever do that. I made it. No matter what. I'm better than everybody in the whole world. There's nobody as good as me. You know, I spoke in Philadelphia on Tuesday. They brought me there. Island, beautiful, lovely people. And sure enough, as soon as I walked in, somebody gives me a bag and says, "This is for you." What's that? I open it up. Jack Daniels. Oh, by the way, I can't. No, I'm just joking. The guy who, I hope you're not listening to this. I just want to be funny. I can't stand Jack Daniels. It's just that the name is a hit. So, but it's good enough. You did me a favor. I don't have to drink it. I'm going to show it to the Yolim. See, Jack is alive and well. See, we got Jack. Good old Jack is back in business. We got scared for a minute. The guys are polished. My chashiva drinkers, they're telling me reports that whoever leaves my VOD can't see straight for a couple hours. Oh, you were in Mendel? No wonder you're banging into the pole. You just came back from Mendel's VOD. Especially Hanukkah. He's terrible. Mendel, don't go there. Mendel, you get shikha. I'll make you shikha. Mendel has got, every Chassidus. One Chassidus, learning. Another Chassidus, tefillah. Another Chassidus, simcha. My Chassidus, drink. That's my big thing. Drink, Rabbi Sai. We learn. Don't worry. I'm just kidding, Rabbi Sai. Don't take me too serious. You'd be shocked how literal people can become. You have to watch what I'm saying. I've had, I don't want to say, sometimes the guy you're dealing with is music. He takes it literal. Mendel said, drinking is everything. He calls, Ma, yes, can I have a couple of bottles of schnapps? I want vodka with Jack, with Johnny, with this. What got into you? Rabbi Mendel said, the ikka is drinking. You don't think it's going to happen? You got to be so careful these days. People, they take you first. I once told the guy he wants to be in a Novandig. He wants to put his hat on backwards. He says, Rabbi Mendel, should I do that? I said, don't you dare, you're a sugar. Don't do it. He thinks that you have to go ahead and do these things. Look, if you have a Rebbe, okay, I once saw, my Rebbe once did it for Rabbi. Why? Because he was normal, super normal, and he's gehalten. And he, with a cheshbon, he didn't do prat. You want to be a Meshuggah? It's no mitzvah. But it is the pratim that, the best pratim are pratim that are normal. That people are petrified of being normal. Of davening for the Amid. Saying a nice word in public. Even though they didn't ask you to. So what? I'm sitting at a Sheva Brachas, and no one asked me to speak. I say, I want to just say the chasana, I'm so impressed, and I want to give a bracha. Should be zeh zug ad kan. No one's gonna mind. And you had your prat. I recommend it. What's gonna? You're gonna have a telephone go. Rabbi Mendel, you're the one that messed up my Sheva Brachas. What are these guys are coming one after another, and each one is. One thing I'll tell you, you ever heard the fifth of Shulchan Aruch? That means have seichel. The big message of Chanukah is have seichel, Rabbi Sai. Without that, it's not happening. No matter what shita you're going to go, you're going to find, that's the way our minig is. Anyway, it's such a lovely Yom Tov Chanukah. So delicious. Every minute, Nisim and Nisim. I'm already having so many Nisim. This happens all the time. For years. When I don't want my chavrusa. Sometimes I don't want him. But sometimes I don't want him. I need my space. Right today I need Musa. I need something. I need to spend a few. And I don't want to tell him, I get a phone call. Oh, please be Michael me, but I have to go somewhere now. Please be Michael. It's okay if I don't show up? Yeah, it's all right. I'll be Michael you. It's okay. This happens all the time, I promise you. David is so nice to me. I'm the good guy yet. I needed a break, and I'm the good guy. I promise you. It just happened. It just this Hanukkah. By the way, the best Kabbalah Hanukkah is don't learn less than usual. You want to have a good, just don't make it worse. Because the Yitzhahara not to learn and Hanukkah, it's okay. Try your best. Main thing is try your best. That's all. We're going to do everything perfect. We're going to mess up no matter how hard we try. That's the way it is. You know what I told myself today? I says, I'm a big Bal Yisurim. By the way, a Bal Yisurim is, if you know what a Bal Yisurim is, Chavetz Chaim used to go wild. A Bal Yisurim, these are the luckiest people in the world. No Gehenim. But the people, Olam Hazeh, the people, they don't go with that because you're not getting covered. The worst part of Yisurim is they look at you as a nebuch. You know how many people call me up that went through traumatic experiences? What's killing them worse is the people around them. The way they look at them different. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And that kills them because they're covered. They're bezyonis. You know what I told? I told a group of people who were going through whatever. Go to those people. You want to prat? They want to prat to go against. You know, bezyonis is the problem. Usually that's the real problem. What people are going to say, no matter what, even physical problems, the bezyonis dominates. You don't know how covered is your life. You have no idea. And the pain. I told him, Dafka, go to the guy that says Nebuch and show yourself in front instead of running away from him because you wish you couldn't get near him because he was always embarrassing you. Go over to him and just say, how's everything? And watch him say Nebuch and enjoy it. Because you're coming Dafka for that. Yechap psychologically. Yechap like, I know a guy who used to have terrible bezyonis, Nebuch in his own house. Whatever, he wasn't. You know what I told him to do? And he used to shrink. For a certain family member used to get him as a meshuga. And he used to go, I says, you know how to conquer that? Go the opposite direction and lachatchil, go to that person and watch the bezayin happen and sit there and say, good stuff. Zionist takes away all your averis. Great, let's have some more of that. The thing you hated, God could do it. It's the best way to go. And it will get rid of all that fear because you're doing it on purpose. Might even make you die to vocalize it. I love the bezyonis that I'm getting. It's great. Say it. You're losing all your averis. Anyway, I was asked to speak in a place. This happened about 10 years ago. Somebody was here from a different, section. And he said, Rabbi Mendel, I'd like you to speak for my balabatim in my shul. He wants me to speak. It's a small shul. We have about 18 people there. And they're they need a little care of my chevra, And maybe you could speak for them. You ready? It's a true story. And they're they need a little, a boost. I tell them right away, you're telling me there are 18 people there? Mm-hmm. When I speak, I know how many are showing up. 7 guys. Am I right? He smiled. Well, that's what it usually happens. He says, okay, fine, I'm coming anyway. And I came there. The guys were known to be hooked on smartphones. And I come there. Sure enough, just what I predicted. There were 7 guys listening to me. 4 out of 7 were like pasuk pumim girsa from their smartphones. They couldn't stop. I promise, it's a true story. They were sitting there. Those were the guys who attended. There were 3 guys listening. That's about what I accomplished with the 18 people there. And the 3 guys were looking at the smartphones. They couldn't stop. Couldn't tear themselves away from their smartphones. And the other guys were listening. And they're very polite. It's just that I'm busy. I mean, during the speech, let's take a, And the rest of the Olam was walking back and forth as I was speaking. That's what it was. So now, by the way, they invited me to come again. And I said, you're the answer to my dreams. I'm looking for this. And a Vardiga loves this. This is his bread and butter. If you get that mentality, that bezyonis is on your agenda, listen to me, you need a balanced diet. Every human being understands what food is all about. You need a balanced diet. You have to have meat, potatoes, some vegetables, a side dish. Then you need some jello for dessert. a beverage. You got to do things balanced. And nowadays, a couple of dips. I don't know, why do they say, what kind of below? I don't chop it. All year round, one dip, here's another. Oh, we got a new dip. Oh, yeah, that one too. Okay, another dip. You don't have enough for the main dish. You need a few dips. Okay. So, by the way, the time of Gemara, they did eat. It's interesting. All right, it's fine. But I don't chop it. That's a lavish legal cash if anybody wants to answer it. At the time of the Gemara, people didn't have dips like this. And nowadays, there's so many dips, no? What happens on Pesach different? Here, 2 dips. 2 dips? 2 dips is a joke. It's at the Mahalach. You guys, what are you doing Pesach night? You're worse than you. Okay, anyway. So, now I wanted to say that it's a time of thankfulness. Now here's the story. You want to get a balance in your life. You sit down after one shacharis or a one seder, you analyze what happened. You have any idea what a gold mine, how much thankfulness you have to have. If the seder went good, write down a good seder, and I'm so happy. Now you got 1,000 times moscha. And if the seder went bad, and it went good and bad, so you got Bezyanis, and the Charusi yelled at you, and you got Bezyanis, the guy next to you screams louder than you and learning, write down. Great Bezyanis, Simcha Shal Teira, Toiv Pam Batzar Memea Balitzar. This happened with the Stipler, famous story. 2 stories. One with Stipler, one with Galinsky, and one with the Chavetz Chaim. The guy says, "Oh, but my Chavrus is doing so much better than me." He says, "How much you learn? A blot? Your Chavrus will learn 1 blot. You learned 100. Toiv Pam Batzar Memea Balitzar." The other one is that, I think Chavetz Chaim said that. And the Stipler, the same kind of Maisa, he says, your Chavrusa is a good soldier. You're a general. Because you had tar when you learned. You see, you take down all these things after every Seder and spell out what's going on in life. If you have Yisurim, I consider myself a tremendous Bal Yisurim. Why? Because my class lost. They had today a game in the Chanukah Masiba. So they have a Chanukah Masiba in school. And my class, usually I daven that we should win. Now, I have an ethical question. Does a Rebbe have a right to daven for his Talmidim that they should win? There's 20 classes in the school. Let another kid win. What are you so selfish for? So I say, yes, you daven. By the way, my Chevra always win. Today was different. I don't know why. But so it was a big Yisurim for me. My class lost. I was watching all the other teams. They did better. They had a game there. And my class lost. That wasn't easy. So I could write that down as Yisurim. Some Chabunim speaks about this. This Rabbi Miller. All Yisurim. You look at yourself. I want to tell you something. Several Rabbeim have told me that when they have a bad day at home, something went wrong, they go to school, the kids love them more than ever. I know a young man, he told me, suddenly the class loves, they run over to the Rebbe, and hey, you never did that before, because at home, the Eibishter sees that you're suffering, so he makes up for it. I've seen so much of this. There was a famous person who was a super mutzlach. In Eretz Yisrael, there were 2 Rosh Yeshivas. One of them was, the whole world was after him. The other one was like, the one who was so-so, he ended up with children that nobody had that. Why is David saw? You don't have this? I'll give you something else. David, I see a lot of that. People who have, if you have a problem somewhere, expect David to knows the pain you're going through. So I tell David, I'm a big Bal Yisurim. My class lost today, and I couldn't start the car. Yeah, I thought I lost $100 for 10 minutes, which is a lot of pain for those 10 minutes. Look, and the pain that I'm a bottling. Here we go again. I'm a bottling. By the way, any person, if your nature is that you're a bottling, you're losing things. Anybody know anything about that? I think the whole world knows plenty about that. I said something, I want to retract. I said this a couple of weeks ago, that being Mesudadik is extinct. Like, this dar is officially Mavul Baal. Like, everybody's spinning around, not sure what they're doing next. The days when people are Mesudadik, it's not so bad, really. You can be Mesudadik. But I have a point anyway. So not being Mesudadik is a lot of pain. And having losing your keys all the time, a lot of pain, and the car doesn't start, and mittamol, you thought you had a bad report about one of your kids for an hour, and then you found out it wasn't so bad. So you're about Yisurim Koshim and Eiroim. When next year time you daven to the Eibush, I got so many Yisurim, and the Eibush will recognize that, and he'll treat you well. If you're machshiv, every little thing, the red lights, the buses that stop you in the middle of the road, the times that you're late and you're embarrassed. There's so much Yisurim in a person's life. And this Diaper talks about certain people have certain mannerisms. They talk a little bit different, but they look a little bit, and usually they're Yisurim Adamyanis. They're worried about things that aren't even a problem. Just in their mind, this is terrible because they think everyone's looking at them. It's baloney. The guy's jealous of you. You don't know the real story. You know, if you would open up the mashkiach, that's how Nussin told me. If everybody would take his peckle and put it out on the table, you'd say, okay, now I see I didn't know what that guy really has. I was so busy envying him because he's always getting a bracha under the chuppah, and I'm only getting whatever. Now I see what's really happening. They're doing it because they say you have to never be mechazik him, because he just lost his job and no one likes him, and so they gave him a bracha, you know. So you look like you're a good guy, so they leave you alone. But you didn't think so. You're busy with your jealousy. Look what he got, and I don't. And he's busy with his jealousy. All I get is a stupid bracha under the chuppah. This guy, Baruch Hashem, has a job. And each guy's busy with each other. Everybody's living in a fantasy world that's totally untrue. I think Chazon Ish said this, and Chaim Belinda used to have a sign up. There is no atzvus to a person that has any shaykhus with the light of truth. The only reason you're suffering is because you're not living with the truth. If you strike a match and see the darkness, that you have such darkness, you think you have a problem, you have nothing. Your problem is your glick. You know what Chada Kemach says? I think he's the one who said it. Before you were born, you probably picked this nisayon that you have. And then in the world of truth, you picked it. Okay. Now, the other day was the yahrzeit of Reb Chaim Mordechai Weinkrantz. I want everybody to see, this is his kitchen. That kitchen, I was there, I brought Yinga Light from Lakewood to go to that kitchen. First of all, take a look at his face. You want to see the Shechina? You know, this man had major Ruach HaKodesh. Major. You know what he used to do? Reb Chaim Mordechai? It should be a schus. He should be a Melech Yosef for all of us. And he should do wonders. We need him. He was the Meirah Derech of the Vardigas. The people he put on their feet had Ruach HaKodesh. Do you know that? One after another. His Talmidim. You know who he was? One of his Talmidim. One sat on the other one. He knows B'yadiyah that he had Gilo, alright? And all his Einikach knew that he had Ruach HaKodesh. That was Pashut. I don't want to say all the names, because one of them came in a dream to one of the other and said, you're saying nice things about if he was nifta. I don't like that stuff. Even if he was nifta, he still doesn't want covered. It's a pella. But that's one of the big Novandigas. When he was their Rebbe, you know what a malach he was? He had a dream when he was a little boy. Look at the face. Look at the Heiligkeit. He's such a holy person. I remember him. Of Weinkrantz. And he was, what he did, you know, he had excruciating Yisurim in his later years. The doctor said he's going to be screaming any minute. And he didn't say a word. And later they asked him, what happened? He saw mumbling. He says, much better to get it here than to get him. That's all he was saying. He was the one who used to say it publicly. You want to be happy? Learn 3 hours. You'll be happy. And he used to do it. He's special. Anyway, He was a little kid. He was part of a certain group of Yidden, very chashuv Yidden, and his father was planning on sending him to that yeshiva of that group, and he was supposed to leave the next day, and he had a dream. And a man with a white beard, whatever, came to him and said, I don't want you going to that yeshiva. I want you going to Novandik. And the next day he gets up. His father says, okay, you got to go to yeshiva. He says, no, I had a dream, and I believe in that dream. The dream said I'm going to Novandik. He was a little kid, and he didn't listen to his father. And he went to Novandik, and that other yeshiva and his father, everybody, were killed by the Nazis. And the Novandik survived. But he said later, the man in the dream was the Alta from Novandik. Don't ask me these spooky type of things, but that's the story with him. You know what he did? One of his Talmidim, I'll tell you it was. I heard it from. It happened to Pinchas Menachem Malach. He was a Gerach Chassid who became a Novandik, and he wanted it in Shidduch. So he asked him, "Kommt da rein, afreilich in Chaneke." Chaim l'chaim l'chaim. So what did he do? You know what he used to do? If you wanted to know if you do a shidduch or not, I had with him myself. I wanted to do a shidduch or not. So he said, okay, show me a picture. Him? Go marry him. It's going to work out great. In other words, don't get near him. You marry him, in 2 weeks you're divorced. He used to do this left and right. He had a bracha from the stipler with he is shalom bayis. He had a koyach. He knew people. He told me himself, 3 people. A kid fell out of a window. And, one kid here. Kid fell out of a window. They made a suicide. He says, don't make a suicide. Stop eating that tray for restaurant. And another thing happened. You got to hold up. He did jewelry. Twice he had to hold up. He says, I'm leaving the jewelry line. He says, it's not going to help you. You have to start keeping Shabbos, and you won't get the hold-ups anymore. A third guy, he told him about Taras HaMishpacha. They're making whatever. Nothing will help you. Take care of that. So I asked him, how did you know each time what? He smiled. He knew. So this Talmud of his, Pinchas Menachem Malach, needed a shidduch. It was after the war. And he wanted a shidduch. So he says, okay, he's going to Eretz Yisrael to get a shidduch. You know what he tells him? Are you going to Eretz Yisrael for a shidduch? No. Lav Dafki, your shidduch is going to be in Eretz Yisrael. How do you know? You want to know who your shidduch is going to be? Her initials are Ches. He was on the plane going to Eretz Yisrael. Suddenly, emergency landing in Paris. He had to stay 4 days in Paris till he can go on. In those 4 days, they read him a shidduch. Chanachaya, whatever her last name was. And that was it. That was his first shidduch. You have a musik? With a bomb, what he used to do, he once invited me. He went to a chassan. He was a gerach chassan. One of these small chassanas where a one-piece band, it was one of those. And he says, come along. And I came along with him. I sat next to him. And he took doubles of soup. Can I have some more of that stuff? That's where I got the pickle business from. When I go, I had to speak recently. Sure. Another place where, whatever it is. And as soon as I walked in, first I took my time. I didn't hurry to speak. I suddenly say, oh, by the way, you'll see them there. I said it out loud. Do you want me to speak in Lashon Kodesh? I'm sorry, in English or in Yiddish? That was number one. A few minutes later, I said, and I asked these questions. Nothing wrong, but to me, it was a prat. To me, I felt it was a prat. Then in the middle of my speech, I suddenly says, can I have those potato chips, please? They brought it down. I didn't touch it. A couple of guys smirked a little bit. And then I continued with my speech and how I'm moist nefesh to speak in public because I'm so embarrassed. And a few minutes later, I says, Any pretzels left over there? I didn't touch any of that stuff. I just put it down, just to know it. And I did a couple of things like that. Before I left, there was a Ger Chassid next to me, the sweetest guy in the world. I know him from way back. Chashav, very Chashav. And the Rav Atayri. So before I left, I made a remark. My favorite rabbi in Lakewood is so-and-so. And my favorite Chasidus is Ger. That's how I left. So that's a Novandiga speech. Novandigas do things with pratim. You know what I'm saying? The best part by them is if half the olam leaves in the middle. That's the Gan Eden Atach. They love that. I saw my Rebbe, Rabbi Schwartz, speaking, and I saw guys walking out. He was like, so what? You can walk out. Free country. It looked like, I once saw Rabbi Natan Yebra. He was speaking. In the middle of a speech, he did this a whole speech. He was busy with. But it wasn't weird. It wasn't weird at all. Now, he was acting normal. He just, he was like looking at this. And he kept doing this Keseda, that, they lose their fear of people by doing a prat. It's so kedai by side. Try to do it, but check out what you're doing. I mean, some people could go, because you have to watch yourself. Yeah, you need a Rebbe, and you do a prat. I stand on a chair, all the chasanas, to do a prat. I need them. You know what happens after a while? By me, the telephone has become an avodah zarah. I'm avoiding it. I'm disappearing out. I have a lot of emergency phone calls daily that I feel it's you can help people. Machazik, then they call me up. Yeah, I told you Minig Lakewood. When the guy's holding by vidui, you call Mendel. In fact, they're inserting it in the vidus that they're putting in there. After you've called Mendel, say this, And still, if by any faint possibility that you're still having problems, because usually that should take care of. Give Mendel a call. They think who knows what. I promise you. This happens all the time. They call me up for the most impossible. Do you know that there was a Rebbe, a Chassidish younger man, I don't know if he's Mamish a Rebbe. He was the son of a Rebbe of Williamsburg. And he told me his father was a big Rebbe who specialized in beyond Yish cases. He used to deal dafka with them. That's something. You believe in the Abish, you can get anything. L'chaim. Today was one of the few times that actually I wasn't answered. It's a big, I look a little depressed today, that's where it's coming from. Today my class lost the game. My class always wins. Yeah, because I daven. What are you talking? I daven. Now, let me ask you a question. Is it right to daven? What if the other guy wins? What's wrong? If I get in other classroom? No! My class! That's how I feel. That's my shita. The Mama Leah got involved with it. She was overtamed. She had 6 children before she finally, now Rachel's going to be less than the Shvachis. No. Abishta, make her a girl. So that's how Dina came in. Or else she would have had 7. You know what's going on? But she was going, why was she so ambitious? Why didn't you think of someone else? No, she didn't. You hear this? You know what Chayecha Kaiba means? I'll tell you why. I don't know. Nobody knows. She was Snua Leah. All her life she was battling the husband like me or not. See, a person like that has to go all out for me. You have a chrayas, Chayecha Kaiba. Don't be such a tzaddik. Think of someone else. First comes me. I'm going to tell you some people who didn't think about anybody. You ready? I shouldn't say this. I'm speaking about giants. First, I want to say something. Before I want to say anything about Yosef HaTzadik and Aaron HaKohen, I'm going to say clear. No one has any right to say anything. And even what the Sfarim say, And they say, they criticize it. Why they say Milos is that nobody knows anything about these people in a billion years, but we have. So it's a sin to think you know anything, but it's also a sin to walk away with nothing. So I'm going to say what could be a pshat. I suspect it might even be true, but I'm not big enough to know what really happened. One thing's for sure: people worked on their midas, and I would feel justified to say that Yosef HaTzadik, his entire life, he was on a campaign for Vayig Ba'alibe B'dak Hashem like nobody in the universe. He was unbelievable. He just told his parents, he just told his brothers that he's, by the way, I'm very happy that they're taking pictures of me. It makes me feel good. So you already got a mitzvah. Whether the picture comes out good or not is not the point. I feel good. Anyway, so what did he say? He said, okay, first of all, I got a dream. And the dream says, they're all older than him. You know that. All big brothers, all not kids, all Gilo Yisrael like you can't describe. You're all bowing down to me. And they hated him. And that was the second, they already hated him plus, because they hated him because the father liked him. But now for the dream, oh boy, you see boys, like they hate him more. And he's not finished with them. Oh, you hate me? That's so nice. Guess what my next dream was? What's the next one? Next one, they have 11 stars, and Tati and Mommy included are also bowing down to me. If you didn't hear enough of what I care, what the public opinion is, I'll show you how little I care. I'm getting worse than last time. These are psukim. What's going on here? Does he have any? He wasn't stupid. What's going on here? He verpatcht the Welt, including his parents, his brothers, G'dayli Yisrael. Now you can't describe their greatness, and it's fine. And then when he ends up by Potifar, and then Garlo Babayas, think he changed? You think what he went through changed him? And then Garlo Babayas is many. There's no one bigger than me around here. How's that one? We're not finished. Then when Pari calls him out because he knows the dreams, he knows dreams. Oh, I heard you know dreams. No, not really. You're speaking to a king, respect. He says, no, Biladai, a kid. You got it all wrong, Pari. And after 12 years in jail, he's got such a mitzvahs. He verpatcht Pari. And by the way, whenever it says Chei Pari, by the life of Pari, he used to swear a lot with his brothers. By the life of Pari, you people are this and that. He used to swear a lot. So Chazal say, I used to swear by the life of Pari. He was saying, just like Pari's life isn't worth a penny, and that's how my shvuah isn't worth a penny. It's baloney. I'm just lying. The Chazal say that he was playing games with Pari. He looked at Pari like a kid. He wasn't Gerritson. And then he heard his brothers say, Abducha, he lost 10 years of his life because there was a gayus. There was a gayus there. And there was a gayus b'shita. And he was the biggest from the beginning of his life to the end. He was the biggest tzaddik in the universe, Yosef HaTzadik. Why doesn't anybody learn up from the gayus? Everyone runs away from gayus. What are you running away from? You ever hear of Yosef? By the way, you know why he was the king in Yesod? You know what Midas Yesod means? People fall in Kedusha. Guess the reason. No self-esteem. All these kids that go off the derech, because they feel they're not valued in the base medrash. Go out there, you get easy money, and right away they're gonna, you're a good looking guy, and you do whatever you want. That's why, whatever, I don't want to say other stuff, but whatever it is, that's why he was big in Yesod, because he said, you know who I am? And what really saved him? You're going to be on one of the Shvatim, or on the Choshen, my father's face, whatever. He thought big. Yosef taught it. Now listen to this. There was one other person that was also very big. Aaron HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen also went around feeling, I'm better than everyone else. Why? Because it says, you'll take some. Happy Hanukkah, Rabbi. You'll take a bunch, stack them up. Beautiful. So listen to this. What was I saying? Aaron HaKohen, Aaron HaKohen was getting Chalishas Hadas. All the Nesim are ahead of him. They're all better than him. And Aaron HaKohen, so the Eibusha says, don't worry, you are bigger than all of them. Shulchanach gedolah mishulchanam. So Aaron HaKohen went around like Yosef HaTzadik, I'm better than her. David himself told him to do that. Now, do you know what Yosef gave the world? He saved the entire world. You know what? He didn't. He was a king for 80 years. There's no one in God's Mikra that was king for 80 years, except for him. You know what he did? He's midas he is soid. Mashiach is not coming without him. It says, in Novandig they said, Eish Yosef, what does it say? Vaya, Beis, Yaakov, Eish. Beis Yosef, Lahava, Esav Lakash. You know what's going on? Reb Gershon says, Yaakov, Eish means learning Musa. And Lahava means learning Musa Bez Pilas. With a fire, with a vamkai. That's gonna kill Esav. Okay, that's what they say. Yosef is everything. Yosef, whenever anybody watches his eyes a little, you know the Perez of Menachem Malach said, if anybody watches himself a drop in the Inyani Kedusha, he is mavatal gzeres tzol shemayim. It's a big time stuff. And they say, whenever you're doing it, Yosef's planting himself inside you, his neshama, you're part of him. He's the biggest and he was full of raimamus. I'm better than all of yous. No? So look what the world got out of him. When you hold out from yourself, the world's gonna have from you. And what did the world have of Aaron HaKohen? Kaihanim! A Kohen is everything. A Kohen is all. V'lo shevet Levi bavad. B'nai Torah also in such a bechina. You know, they're also a Kohen. He's got it all. Aaron HaKohen. So Rabbi say, any person, I advise everybody, blow yourself up this Chanukah until you think you own the world. The world will have from you, and if you blow yourself in an extreme, the world will have from you an extreme. Both of these are major extremes. Blow yourself up. No rachmanis. You know what I did to my class today? Listen to this. I hold it's kedai to hear this. I have to give out tickets to the boys who are behaving, and they get extra prizes, whatever. So go ahead giving out tickets. Watch the way I give out tickets. I'm holding a whole bunch of tickets, and a whole class is jumping after me. Rebbe, give me a ticket. Give me a ticket. I said, no. Only Chaim. Chaim, he's smiling. I give Chaim the ticket. Minute later, I got another one coming. The whole class is jumping at me. No, only Shmuel. Only, no. Only Shmuel. I give Shmuel. Then the whole class got another ticket, yes. And I do this in every single kid. I said, no one's getting it except for this kid. And I pointed at him. And I focused on, you're the kid that's the kid. He was in Gan Eden. Now listen closely. After I did that, everybody was happy with everyone else. You know why? Because there was a moment where where your Rebbe said, you are the best guy in the world, no one else. My father Zatzal used to say, he feels like a ben yachid to Hashem. The other guy's also fine. But first comes me. And you get that feeling that you're special. You'll be able to deal with, you're in Tainat Aaron. He says, you're better than everybody. Tomorrow he's going to say, Lev Shasam B'dul HaSachiv. You know why? Because if you feel good about yourself, you forget everyone else. You know why people have a hard time loving this one, loving that time? Sit on yourself 24/7 and love yourself to pieces. And put everyone else down like I did today. No. You may have to do that over time till you're ready to spill over to others. I find that myself, you're not so intimidated by people anymore. You're not so insecure. You're ready to love other people because you love yourself. If you love yourself, you get simcha. If you're not afraid of other people. Okay, next. Where are we up to? 8:49. Let me see my latest. Now, All right. You know, it's so interesting. I found that Yaakov bowed down to Yosef because he was king. You ever see Yosef bow down to Paro? It never happened. It's funny. And he needed him. And Yaakov said, I need him, so I'm going to have to bow down. And Yosef didn't need Paro. He was in jail 12 years. He didn't need him to pull him out of jail. But Ladai because he has an agenda on the top of the world. I would venture to say the reason why he was so stuck in that direction was because he was cotton Shebettovim. The baby in the family, they're all Leah's kids, and they're all in the world. I'm bigger than you. A person that's in the garbage can has to say, I am bigger than everyone else. When Aaron kind of Chalisha Sadas, then David says you're better than everyone else. If you already feel you're better, it's a different story. But our olam is Becheskas Chalisha Sadas. All of us. And therefore, don't worry about Gaiva. Adarabba. Now I'll tell you. I just found Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz. Rabbi Yerucham. He's talking all the time. I was machavan to him. He said like this. First of all, I got to tell you, I'm married to Targum Yonis of Benuzil. It's beautiful. How does Binyamin get Chaim? I'm scared. Somebody said recently, I spoke at the Alta's Yortzeit, and he said, you know, Mendel, you spoke at his Yortzeit, and you were serious. You didn't crack any jokes. So I felt that was very, it's not so easy. That's why it's not good to accept covet from anybody, because then you're under stress for the rest of your life. You always got to be, what I'm saying. Anyway, it's fine. If I don't have enough jokes, I'd be mispal. You know what's happened in my shul? I once cracked so many jokes, a true story. The place was never on the floor so much. I was going like crazy. The jokes were one better than the other. By the way, what happened to me when I was by Tashlach. I was by Tashlach, and everybody runs, come inside, runs to the Rebbe, the Chappas Avedis. By Tashlach, they come to the Rebbe, because they hold that his Avedis are better than your mitzvahs. Oh, now you're talking. Oh, now you're talking coffee. Ooh, that may get. What bracha is this? Is this wine? What is this? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Coffee. 18% sounds good for me. Good stuff. Let me get some of this. Chaim, wait a minute. Do I have a shallow? Tov HaMeitav. Nah, not with wine. Tov HaMeitav. L'chaim. Chaim, let's have some. Rabbi say, no. I'll give some coffee. This is good stuff. Kava El Hashem. Thank you so much. You don't want my shirayim? It's much more. It's fine. It's fine. Have some. Have some. I made a bracha already. L'chaim tovim u'shalom. Everybody should have the sweetest, happiest, happy Hanukkah, all those holy rabbis. And you should see the lights of Mashiach. Karav Mamish, and we should all do tshuva shalema before Zayis Chanukah. You can be zeichet to anything you want. L'chaim. By the way, this is the best Hanukkah you ever had. And I was also already Zeicha B'din, not only for me, but for everyone else. It's done. Amen. All right, how do I know? You know how I have Ruach HaKodesh. It's an old story. Chaim Tov L'Shalom, Kavi. Coffee means Kaval Hashem. Speak positive. It's possible. When you think you didn't make it, then your dafka made it. That's a big yesod, by the way. So, whatever happens, I made it. If the Hanukkah menorah doesn't go, it happened to me like, oh no. I'll tell you what happened last night. I want them to burn beautiful. I just davened. They came out never so good. You see, it pays to daven. Today I did it again. All messed up. Until I got it moving. What do you do when it gets messed up? The Yetzer Hara tells you. Did you remember the Averi you did yesterday? Maybe she's putting you in your place. See? You deserve that. See? He doesn't like you, your mitzvahs. He's throwing. It's Mefurish Mishnah and Sukkah. Whenever it rains in the sukkah, it means that, David is throwing the water in your face. Mushal over there. So that's the pshat. That's the Yetzer Hara. You know what I say? I say the Eibishter likes me. What did he do to Avram? He made a hard job. Kidei litin schar al kol psia upsia. When you're dealing with a tzaddik, you make it hard. So you should get schar on every step. That's the real pshat. And why Mandel's having a hard time with the licht. And why they aren't coming out the way he wants. Litin schar, because I'm a tzaddik. I get much more schar from tzaragra. I lit 100 times. Okay, but the other day, guess what terrible thing happened? It went smooth. What do you do with that? No. Now I'm in such a high madrega that whatever I do goes smooth. But whatever happens, you must come out ahead. Don't listen to the Yetzer Hara. That's going to put you down no matter what you do. You just stagged on learning, it wasn't lishma. You were screaming at your wife, see what a kaisen you are? But you screamed, the octave was much less than last time. But that's still no good. What's wrong with saying that it's an improvement? And you gotta go slowly but surely. This is my madrega. I blow my stack for only a half an hour, which is very good where I come from. It's much, much better than it used to be. Give yourself credit. Yeah, but I'm still getting, no. But I'm a tzaddik. You have to come out ahead. How's that? You have to go against your nature. And your nature says you're in the garbage can. Oh, yes? I'm the Gadol Ador. Listen to this one. I want to apologize to the Yolim. I should be telling stories and stories. I'm saying Betlech a little bit. I hope you don't mind. A little Torah. Don't kill nobody. Cover Chanukah. Thank you so much. This Kabbah is a good simon. This with Jack. Jack is kind of bit of ear. He's got a good name. We like Jack. We can tell the Yolim. It's so funny. I go to the other end of the world. Everybody, Mendel, you're with Jack. How do you know that? I watch you every day. Then other guys start telling me my jokes. How do you know that joke? I used to be a Levitic personality. These days, I heard that joke. I'm not interested. Yeah, they're all watching me. But anyway, listen to this. A hafla of a fella. It's kedai to hear this far. I'm telling you, it's kedai. Yehuda, my name's Yehuda. Yehuda messed up. What did Yehuda do? Yehuda married a Kananis. And boy, they let him have it. Ibn Ezra, I think. They let him have it. That's why you had two sons who were nifted right away. You did such a terrible thing. The others were lahedja. Don't marry Kananim. Avram said it. Yitzchak said it. And Yehuda goes along. And he marries a Kananis. Now I'll tell you a pshat. I'm not saying it's the embassy pshat. I'm choshed it Dapke is. But I don't have the audacity to know what such a giant like Yehuda. He was kicked out of his family. Vayered Yehuda. When you're in the garbage can, you do things maybe you shouldn't do. I'm marrying a Kanani because after all, you see what I am? I messed up. I caused the Bechiras Yosef. The whole family's blaming me. That's when you marry a Kananis. Don't say that that's the real pshat, Yehuda Chas v'Chalila. But in us, that's the real pshat. When you do something you shouldn't do is because you feel, when you feel like this, you do things you shouldn't do. What saved Yosef? And it'll go to Babai, I'm not doing bad stuff. That's why it's so important to build yourself up. But anyway, listen to this. So he goes out of Cananis, and guess what happens? So Yehuda wasn't, it says a Talmud Chacham, that doesn't have Beira. Don't worry about him. Before you turn around, he's going to do tshuva so quick. He goes ahead, and he picks. So the Canaanim, the problem is the Yichus. The Yichus is Gehenna. Ain't Orim is Dabik Bebarach. Avram Avinu told us to Eliezer was a tzaddik Yisrael, but you Canaan, get out of here. You don't belong in the family. We're Baruch. You gotta have Baruch by us. Guess Yehuda decided, okay, enough of Averis. I'm doing tshuva. But when I do tshuva, watch this. Who does he pick for his to join his family? The daughter of Shem himself. The spitz yichus in the universe. Shem, chum, yafas, right? Chum is the worst yichus. Shem is the best. And he messed up by marrying a chum, a Canaan. So he's doing tshuva, he doesn't just improve. I'm going all the way to the top. The single biggest tzaddikus in the world. Tama was humongous tzaddikus, and the daughter of Shem himself. The extreme opposite. When you do a sin, you go the extreme opposite. Got it? You always go extreme. That's why I'm a stupid balagaivanik. I'm one of the biggest balagaivanik in the world. I had a big machlekes, one of Rabbanim here in Lakewood. He told me, and this is true by the way, but I got to ask, he wouldn't mind if I said his name, but I don't want to take chances. He's probably the biggest, very Adam Choshev Admoid, a tzaddik, a goyim, a gadol. He's an emes gadol b'Yisrael. He told me that he's a Raidiv Kavod. And I told him, oh no, I'm worse Raidiv Kavod than you are. He says, no, it's not true. And I ended up telling him, I am the Raidiv Kavod Ador. That's what I told him. Anyway, but sometimes you need to do that. If you feel that you're low, you have to go extreme. I'm sorry. Sit down every day. But now I did this wrong, that wrong. I do everything right. Bashita, I hold I never sinned in my life. I am one of the most perfect people who ever lived. When you have 1,000 voices telling you all day long, you ain't worth a penny, what do? 10,000 voices. No one better than me. And you better lie. You better lie, because you're always going to feel it's not really true. And it's not really true that you're so bad, it's also not true. You have to go extreme. The truth is to go against your nature. That's the truth. The more the better. Anyway, so Yehuda goes ahead, and daughter of James. Notice it's a striking horror. No, it's gewaldig. Hold it, nerdy boy. But he figured, not for me, for my son. You know, I messed up. I sold Yosef, and I married a Canaanist. At least my son will go back from my derech. He'll marry Thomas. And the Abish was Masabab, no, Yehuda. You're going to marry her. Don't you dare put yourself down. And you're going to get parents in Zorach and Malchus Beis David. You want it all. Because that's the way it goes. You build yourself up, you're going places. Hold from yourself. The more you say, I'm great, Bris Crusolas Vasayim. Say it day and night, write it. You think nothing happens. If you're going to sit home tonight, call yourself Rash Gebahag, you'll laugh. And I did this good, that good. Ignore all bad stuff. Make believe it never happened. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Boy, I'm